Good morning. My name is Laura, and welcome to the Horse Riding Position Review video, where we review riding positions from photos and videos that you sent in. If you'd like to improve your riding and training, win more ribbons at your next horse show, or generally like other horsey-related stuff, then you are in the right place, and welcome. Today we have our guests as well, Randy. Hi, Randy. How's it going?
Hey, everybody. It's so great to see you again. You know, every weekend we look forward to doing this with everybody because we learn as much by doing this as you do by listening to us. And what it's done is it's really gotten us sharp about what we're looking at and the origins of how riding positions start and where we can take them, hasn't it, Laura?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think what it's done for me is really helped educate my eye when looking at photos and images that people send in. So it's really helped me to educate my eye on position corrections and what needs to be done to help people. So we do have some things we're going to go over today, as well as going to answer some questions that people have sent in. And if you do have a question or would like to send in a question, please do put it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if you see me looking down here, looking up there, looking down here, it's just because my computer screen and keyboard is down there, and the camera's up here just so I can keep track of everything. So already we have a comment. Awesome, thank you. Okay, Skylar Eck. Thank you very much, Skylar Eck. If you have a question, just tell us where you're coming in from. That'd be great. And also, if you have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you. Excellent. So today, as we do on Saturday mornings, we're going to review positions and look at videos that you've sent in, and also answer questions that you have.
If I could add something here,
yeah.
Laura, the focus of this show is on the hunter jumper type of riding position.
Well, it's not just hunter jumper riding position. It is if you have a rider who would like to have help, if they're riding on the flat, riding over fences, yeah, then we can do it. Anything.
Right.
It's not just. I don't want to just focus on the hunter jumper people.
Right, but I mean, like, do you focus on dressage?
The basics, flat work, yeah. If people have questions about their riding position for the basic levels, yeah, sure. Or Western, it's the basic riding position. But most people who watch this do send in their hunter jumper stuff.
Right.
I mean, they also send in breeds. We had people with questions from quarter horse. Also Arabian. I've had some send in a flat position, like someone was going to a dressage show, wanted me to review their position for that. And but most of them are, like you say, the hunter jumper stuff. And Randy, forgot to introduce you, Randy. Randy Thompson has been coaching and certifying riding instructors for over 25 years. He is a horse industry legal consultant and expert witness, and the founder of Jumping Instructors Network on Facebook. So if you haven't seen that, go head over there as well. And I'm Laura Kelland-May, Equestrian Canada Senior Judge, Hunter Jumper Equitation and Hack, Senior Steward, and Competition Coach Specialist, High Performance Trained Hunter Jumper. So yeah. So. All right, so I want to review a question that somebody had. This is a really important question. This is from Katina and Anthony. They sent me an email, and first of all, they said, thank you for sending this in. Oh, first of all, thank you for sending this in and asking this question. Thank you so much, Katina and Anthony. Their email is, hello. I really enjoy watching your videos. They are very informative. I'm age, and on my bucket list is to do a hunter under saddle and a hunter jumper show. There has been comments made at my barn that the judges are looking for more of the head down like a Western pleasure instead of head up. Can you please tell me if you agree or disagree with that? So I would like to say right off the bat that there's a difference between hunter under saddle and a hack. And Brandy, would you like to make some comments on that?
Yes, I would say I would say where this is happening is a common thing that happens anywhere in the world, and that is you've got your local level competitions where that are heavily influenced by the breed shows. For example, if you're in an area where they're showing a lot of the quarter horse classes or the paint or the pinto or any of those styles of breeds, what you'll find is that the judges in the open shows especially will have a tendency to place horses that they're accustomed to seeing in the breed shows, whose tendency at this time is to drop their poll lower than their shoulders. That's not happening in the rated. I assume we're talking hunter jumper here.
Yeah. Well, they're saying hunter under saddle and hunter jumper shows. So yeah.
So at the regular shows, from the C on up, I would say that you're not going to find horses winning with their poles below the. Once the poles drop below the shoulders, the horse goes out of balance, and nobody wants to ride a horse up to a fence that's out of balance.
Yeah. So I think also you have to understand where the history of the hunters and the hunter under saddle is from. So the hunter under saddle is way back from when they rode to the hounds, and a hunter under saddle has to be a comfortable horse to get from point A to point B. And if your horse's natural head carriage is down a little lower, well, that's fine. But if you are out in the hunt field and your horse has its head down, it's going to get tired and it's going to not carry itself properly and wear itself down so quickly. So I think as far as putting the horse's head down versus head up, the big thing for me as a judge is that you really don't want your horses on the bit in a hunter under saddle class. The hunter under saddle is meant to be a horse that you would go out and hunt with, historically speaking. So you don't really want to have to be able to ride that horse on the bit, but it should be in a frame, a light frame. And they, when you go to the judges' clinics, they always say, well, the horse with the best movement should always win. Yeah, sure, it should always win. But I think the number one thing that you have to do when you go into any of these under saddle classes is performance. You have to be able to do the walk, the trot, the canter, and show those beautifully in rhythm and in balance. And if you go on the wrong lead, doesn't matter how nice your horse is and how nice a mover your horse is. If you go on the wrong lead, that's a performance thing, and you won't place. What do you say about that, Randy?
I agree with you, and that's where it comes down to, basically your riding position. Because if as your riding position develops and you get stronger in your position, you'll find that you'll be able to influence the horse's movement in the show ring or anywhere, so that they're more comfortable to ride and easier to influence. And that's why Laura started doing the show, is to be able to show people how they can have a balanced riding position that will allow them to create a horse that's more comfortable to ride and easier to influence once the rider gets to that level where they can do that. Until then, as we've talked about, you need a safe, sound, solid horse that'll carry you through until you get to the point where you can influence a horse and be safe.
Right, I agree. Yes, certainly. And as far as head down is Western pleasure versus head up, I'm not quite sure what you mean by head up. Certainly, at a very minimum, you don't want the pole of the horse to be below the horse's withers, particularly at the under a saddle class.
That's what they're talking. I'm sure that's what they're talking about. I'm sure they're in an area where they've got a lot of breed horses. They don't want their poles above their withers for the breed horses.
Yeah, I can't imagine for me to go back to where this historically came from, which was the hunt field. I can't imagine riding a horse out in the hunt field or out on a trail or hacking out with their head down below their withers. For me, that would be quite uncomfortable. But the horse should be on a frame. So for me, the performance is number one. The horse has to have a good performance. Two, second thing I would look for is manners. That means no bucking, no kicking out, or it's no nappy, stopping at the gate, and God forbid, no rearing. But those types of manners things, no pinning the ears at other horses, those things are also taken into consideration. Then you have to think of the quality of the horse. And depending on the level of the show, if you're at a circuit show down in Wellington, the quality of your horse is going to be different. If you're showing at a training show at your stable, it's going to be a bit different. So it's the quality of the horse. It's appropriate for the level of show that you're in, and it has to have good movement. And then it's the way of going is the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth thing. And to me, this head up, head down is the fifth thing that would influence me with the horse. If you're in a class with 20 horses and 10 of them go on the wrong lead, your horse could still have its head down and still be okay and still be in the ribbons if everybody else kind of screws up. But if
I could add something to that, something that goes along when people are competing and they're doing the heads down thing, we'll use that term, which is, as I said, very typical of what's winning in the breed shows right now. So many of the horses who are competing in the breed shows also have a tendency in their canters to do the 4-beat canter instead of the forward 3-beat canter, especially in the flat classes. So they'll come into the flat class, of a hunter.
So if you were judging a under saddle class and a horse was doing the 4-beat canter, what would you do?
It would depend on the quality of the other horses, because I've had that happen before. So I was at, because I'm big on the 4-beat canter thing. So I was judging a show, and it was a nice class. There were maybe 15 or 20 horses, but the best horse in the horse, you're talking about pleasure class. So it has to be, well, which horse would I want to take on the trail? And, there were horses, and they were horses running too fast, and there were horses flipping their heads. And there was this Palomino just quietly kind of almost 4-beating his way around. And you know what?
4-beating his way around. I love it. Yeah, you hate to say, oh my God, they're 4-beating. I hate it. But
the others couldn't even do a 3-beat canter. It was one of those things. I had to choose that horse over the others simply because he was the best horse in the class consistently.
Exactly. And it's because you kind of have a checklist that you go through. And that is the way of going. That's kind of at the bottom, because you have your performances, wrong lead. You have to cross them right off. A horse kicks out at something. You have to cross them right out. If it's not suitable for the level that you have to cross that one off. And if it's got bad movements. So it's that way of going.
And then thinking about that show, because it was an open show.
Right.
So most of the people who come there tend to go to just at this show, that type of show, go to the breed shows, that was a national champion.
Exactly. Oh, so right. So as far as the Western pleasure, head down versus head up, there are other things that are considered before you get to head down versus head up. The horse should not have its head below the withers. So I do have a picture here. I think it's this one.
Pole should not go below the withers. But
what's that?
The pole. But again, that's different. If you're competing at the local level shows, it's acceptable to do the quarter horse thing. Like, this is not a quarter horse show.
Just a minute now. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So how do I get rid of this now? Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with quarter horse shows. Let us restate that. It's just a different thing. They don't ride their horses in the same balance.
It's just different. And I'm sure, that they do. So here is Kelly Farmer in Baltimore top she's getting ready. She's trotting in, and this is her coming into the ring to start her round. And you can see that the horse is moving forward. It's round. It's not on the bit, but it is round and in a frame. Its head is, I would say, its head is down, but it's not lower than the withers. Pole's not lower than the withers, and it's just relaxing going forward. What's your first impression when you see this horse coming in?
And I agree with you. I think the photo makes the horse look a little heavy on the forehand, but here's one thing for those of you who are watching that judges unconsciously or consciously look at, and that is at the trot if that horse is tracking up. So you'll see this horse, his inside front foot, the back foot is clearly going to step into that footprint or in front of it. Now, what this does to you want to draw that in there? What that does to you when you're competing is when a horse is doing that, they're actually using their backs, and most of the time they're in balance, but it gives them that soft, springy gait that the judges like to see, where the horse is swinging from their hips and shoulders.
Yeah, exactly. And while we're talking about this, I want to also comment on under saddle versus hack versus pleasure versus road hack versus equitation. They are all different. Sounds like I got a squeaky mic this morning.
Well, you could. And again, she's talking about the hunter jumper world right now, the hunter world, equitation.
Exactly. So they are slightly different. So the under saddle is the flat part of the hunter division. So usually hunter divisions has 3 over fences and 1 under saddle class. So then if you have the hacks are pleasure hack, road hack, show hack. But those are different than the under saddle class. They ask for different things. They look for different things depending on which class you're in. Look at the specifications in your rule book, or if you are showing at the organization that's hosting that show, they will have specifications for each of those classes. So take the time and look at what they are describing in their specifications.
Oh, sorry, I have a cat in my lap, and as a result, I have cat hair up my nose.
Okay, so the hunter divisions is 2 or 3, depending on what show you go to. Sometimes in the championships they do have 3. And road hack, and then you have the equitation class. And equitation is totally different than your under saddle class and your hack classes. Equitation is on the rider. Hunter under saddle is on the horse. Now, what about having head down versus head up in the equitation class? What do you think of that, Randy?
Well, it doesn't happen in the real hunter jumper world. I don't know what else is there to say.
Well, I think if you're going in your equitation class, your riding is the thing that's being focused on. So if you go again, depending on the show that you are, it's going to be different if you go to the A shows versus a local in-house schooling show. So you have to remember about that. But you also have to know that your horse should be relaxed, moving forward in a relaxed fashion, even though you're in an equitation class.
Oh, yes, because it's the overall picture. I mean, you're talking equitation. It is not just about the rider. It's how the rider presents the horse and makes them look beautiful. That's the bottom line, because you could have the best horse in the world. Go out and buy your $1 million horse and put a rider on that can't make the horse look right, and it's not going to win. Or you could have a $25 horse that came from the rescue down the road and a rider that has a little bit of experience that can make that horse win the $1 million classes, right?
Yeah, so I just want to show a little clip of an under saddle class here. So this is the junior hunter under saddle, just so you can watch the horses going around here.
And again, this is from the hunter jumper world.
Yeah. Now the horses are going forward. Nice steady trot.
Notice the spring in their trots. So at
Yeah.
this level, as you can see, the horses are clearly tracking up at the trot, which gives them the forward movement they need to compete at this level. At an open show, you may not see this forward because a lot of the riders are coming from the breed
You
shows.
see they're rounded going forward. They're not necessarily on the bit. And there's the head up, head down. Not sure what you would call this, but they have to be relaxed and in a solid frame.
In the open shows, they would consider this head up.
Yeah, this guy for sure.
Any of them. Anytime the pole is above the withers, it's head up. And in the ones who are competing in the breed shows where they want.
Oh, I see. And you're talking the quarter horse type thing.
It's pole up, really.
They call it hunt seat, I think, the breed shows. But as you see, it's a steady, round, forward, relaxed, rhythmic canter. And whether they're head up and head down is not really,
right.
You don't really notice it.
And I'd like to point out something too, is that the riders, if you could go back to that video again, at the riders of this level, and I'm using that term because obviously these riders compete a lot. As you look at their riding position while they're going around, you don't notice them moving. See how they follow their horse's movements?
Yeah.
This takes years of training to get this. So see how steady they are? Look at how they're flowing with their horses. So this is not beginner level riders. So you can start seeing the differences.
Well, this is a junior hunter.
Right.
They're juniors, but they're not beginners.
But they're not beginners, right. Yeah, we know adults that can't ride at this level.
Yeah, so they're junior riders, but not beginner riders. So the junior riders means that they're under 18 years of age.
Right.
So, yeah. Excellent.
Sorry, I have cat hair all over now that I had a cat visiting me. Woo!
Good thing you're not allergic. So I want to thank everybody. So if you're watching live, thank you so much for being here with us today, this morning. And if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for joining us on the replay. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments here. And if you would like to have your position reviewed, then you can send me an email, thistleridge@hotmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any comments.
Now she's taking in position reviews for any style of riding you'd like to share with us. So it can be hunter, it can be jumper, it can be dressage, it can be Western. I know a little bit about saddle seat, but I don't think that's the people that are going to come to find you. But you never know.
No, we do mostly hunter jumper. Yeah, you're right. But I have had somebody send in their Western riding pattern for me to review,
which is fine.
And also a dressage person, and I think you and Patty helped me with them actually.
Right.
Okay, so also like to remind people, if you're on my YouTube channel, to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new videos that are coming out.
I know that subscribe button's over there.
High five. Boom.
Whoop, whoa. Wait, that was a weird one. Wait, let's try. Oh, here we go.
There you go. Oh boy. Okay, we got a comment here. Let's see what this is. Wonderful show. Thank you, Aaron, so much. Really appreciate it. Okay, so thought I saw something. Okay, so we are wanting to show another video of somebody. I want to stop this and I want to share something again. This is from Kaylee. She sent in something last week and then she updated it. She would like to have some help with her cantering. So I'm going to share that. This is what happens sometimes.
Well, that's all right. I found a video of a hunter under saddle. Whoa, stop. You want to see a winning hunter under saddle?
Not just yet.
For the,
Not that I got this queued up, but yeah, we will.
It's no, I know later, but this is from the quarter horse circuit.
Oh, that would be a good option. Okay, so this isn't working. Oh, there we go.
Oh, sorry. Bad me.
So this is Kaylee, I don't know, and Buckshot.
Aww.
So Kaylee said that she was really helped by using the seat belt that she saw when Susan Harris was on the jumping instructors program. So this is Kaylee riding Buckshot, and she's cantering. She'd like to have some help with her cantering position. Can you see that, Randy? Am I showing it? You gone?
I'm here.
We're just quiet because we're concentrating.
No, we're quiet because we're in the background, Laura. Now we can comment while the video's on. I have no idea how I did that, but here we are. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Always an adventure. All right. So what's this rider's name?
It's Kaylee.
Hey, Kaylee. So I love what you're doing with your horse. I see that you're really focusing on keeping centered over your lower leg. And, you know, I love spotted horses, so I'm ahead of you on that way. So as I'm watching you ride, what I'd advise you to do, because you're at a point now where you're trying to figure out, you've lowered your seat, and that's kind of a vulnerable position at first when you stay down a little bit lower, because you'll keep wanting to go up higher again. So that's a normal part of your process. What I would like to see you do is, as you're doing this, in your warm-up work, do at least 5 minutes of 2-point position at the trot, so you can feel the spring going from your seat to your lower leg. Also, when you're working on the canter, lift yourself up like you've got the right idea. This would be okay to even do as a modified half seat, light seat, 2-point position, where when you're cantering, you can see that your lower leg is swinging a little bit, and that tells me that you're not going into your lower leg at the level that you can now that your seat is over your lower leg. So to feel that, because you watch the Sally Swift thing, you can practice the exercise where you can either put a board under the front of your foot, you know, like a 2x4, so you can feel that you can keep springing in your movements, or you can also do the thing where she steps. You can go from a step, and you with both of your legs, and like you're on a saddle, you know, you spread your legs apart on the step or the mounting block, and then you spring down onto the ground. But when you land, you have to feel that you land into the bottom of your foot. So all that's happening here is your weight is not all the way down into the bottom of your foot, so the spring goes all the way up. When you get that feel, you'll find, because you can see as you're looking at your hands are a little bit low, but that's all right, because that's better. That's you balancing a little bit as you're going through this process. So that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Look at it. It's like a light contact. You can see you're pressing on the mane a little bit, but that's because you're balancing your body. I'm okay with that. Just get your weight down into your lower leg, and you have the sense as you're looking at the horse, you're pushing back on the hand, and that's a good thing. You just want to also, as you're doing this, here's what I would do, because you've got a good feeling of where your hands should be. You've got the feeling of pressing on your hands as you're cantering around. What I would do is, for 6 steps, press on your hands and feel that you're keeping your upper body back. And then with that same feeling, take a hold of your martingale and pull up on it with your little finger, just enough to where you feel your belly muscles tighten. When you do that, as you're doing that, feel like you're pulling yourself deeper into the saddle and into your lower legs, and hold that for like 6 strides, and then go back to pushing back for 6 strides, you know, whether it's the trot or the canter. So you get that feeling, because all that's missing there is, like, in this position, you've got the right position, but my sense is that it's not coming from your core. So this exercise, again, for 6 steps, you'll do what you're doing right here, pressing, because you can see your legs aren't connected. And then you're going to pick up your reins and just pull them back a little bit until you feel it in your belly. You'll feel it right in the front of your belly here. And then as you're doing that, let your legs slide down and forward so that you're anchored, so you can feel like you're anchored in your lower step, your lower legs for another 6 steps. That's what I would recommend for this level. At the trot and the canter. Start it first at the walk.
Yeah, I think you're right. Looks like when she is cantering that it looks like she's trying to keep her seat into the saddle.
And doing a great job.
Yeah, but she's got to get the weight down into her feet and into her seat.
Now that she's got her seat back, she can do that.
And it looks like to me, as you say, Randy, that her feet are like, look at that. Sometimes the weight is in her ankles.
Yes.
And sometimes it isn't.
Which is exactly where she should be.
Pardon me?
Which is exactly where she should be in her process.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the next step, is that right here you can see that her weight has come off her foot and coming into this part.
Right. That's where she's leaning on the neck instead of pressing.
Yeah.
Ever so slightly.
This is great because we have this super duper video thing that we can get it, roll it back here. Let's see what else.
For that second in time, but that's where at that second in time where you're going to lose your lower leg connection, because it happens to everybody. There's nothing you're doing that we haven't done maybe longer than you.
This looks good. Look at that. For that.
Yes.
Her weight is right down into her ankle. Lower leg is secure on the horse. I mean, if somebody sent this photo in, I'd say, look, you look great. You're in balance. Your eyes are up beautifully. Your shoulders, elbows, hand, horse's mouth is soft and in connection.
A little bit pulling on the reins. Her hand needs to be a little bit more forward for this step.
And
so at this
horse.
Yep, go ahead.
Horse looks like, ears are up, looks very kind and soft.
Yeah.
And the stirrup is a straight line and in balance right here. But if we go to like maybe the next step or so.
Right, because it's a one step. That's what's nice.
And then the next step is that you do not look like you are in as good a balance as you were in the previous step. So this is awesome.
Very nice.
So for me, it might sound a little bit counterintuitive, but if for you to get your seat into your saddle, I think practicing your 2-point and thinking of, like what Randy said, squatting down into the saddle. If you step on the first step of the mounting block and jump off and you land in your weight down and you close your hip angle, close your knee angle, close your ankle angle to absorb that shock. Like there's springs in there, that will help this rider. But excellent work.
Yes.
This is a great video, Kaylee. Thank you so much for sending it in, because you're by the side of the rider so we can see exactly what's happening.
And I like how her helmet's on correctly. You can see that she's looking forward.
Yeah, beautiful helmet, looking up, looking forward. Look at her nice straight back.
Yeah.
And this is a good way to stop it because you can see that the weight is coming up rather than sinking, stretching down.
Which is just going into your old position. So it's going to take a while to develop the habit of sinking down instead of standing up in your stirrups.
Sinking down. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, sinking down. I like that. Okay, perfect. Excellent. Thank you so much, Kaylee, for doing that. That's an excellent photo.
Yes. Keep up the good work. And show us your updates. Tell us what you're doing next. Show us what you're doing next, because, we love to see your changes.
Yes, that's awesome. Excellent. Okay, Kaylee. Okay, so Randy, you've got you have an under saddle class that you wanted to show us.
Oh, I was going to find that. Wait. I went off in La La Land. Sorry.
So while you're finding that, I'm going to share mine. little bit more about the under saddle class. Are you?
Oh, here, I've got one. Oh,
Okay.
you got it? Let me see if I can get it to share.
Now, first of all, turn them. Yeah, there we go.
Good
Mute it.
The 2019 Lucas Oil AQHA World Championship Show.
Okay, so you can cut the audio on that.
Well,
All right,
first
let me
off, for
see. Where'd she go?
blue jeans is the icing on the cake.
Oh, come on, show us. There we go.
And Jeff, who helped me with them a
Okay,
lot.
can you
I need help sometimes.
click on the audio and stop the audio for that?
All right.
That makes
Hold
everything work so well.
There you go.
They just showed a couple clips in there. Dang it. Okay, let me find another one while you show yours.
Okay, so this is the junior hunter. Gonna show. Okay, Randy, you're gonna have to stop sharing your screen.
Oh, my bad. All right.
So this is just so that you can see the difference, and this is going to be great because Randy's going to show. This is an English junior hunter under saddle. So this is a hunter under saddle class
at a hunter jumper show, a recognized hunter jumper.
So you can see the jumps in the ring, and that kind of gives you an indication of what type of show it is, and that it's in a big coliseum. The horses are turned out, the manes and tails are braided, and they are getting ready to do their trot on this side.
And this is going back to the difference between what's happening at the open shows in the hunter under saddle type of classes, or the, whatever, and the recognized hunter equitation shows. It's a different balance.
I think this was where were we in Pennsylvania, Randy? I think this is where this
is Harrisburg, right? Where the McClays are.
So you can see the horses are moving forward, and the one thing you can tell that they're relaxed is because their tail is moving back and forth. You can see the horses' tails just kind of relaxing and moving back and forth, which is an important thing to notice. They are really moving out, aren't they?
Yes.
Lovely horses. I could watch these all day. It looks like it's in the fall. There's some pumpkins there. Now they're walking, though. They're going to canter. Why am I getting the audio? Probably going to get so they're asking for canter now. So they're all going forward and round. Did you find yours, Randy?
Yes.
So keep in mind what you're seeing here. And let's get Randy. I'm going to stop my share screen, and then Randy, you can cue yours up.
And this is at a quarter horse. The 2018 Quarter Horse Congress is where this is coming from.
So the Quarter Horse Congress is the premium place to show your quarter horse. Now, if on the bottom right hand of the YouTube video, you can see a place where you can make it full screen, Randy. Then it'll be a bit bigger. Yeah, that's it. There you go.
All right. So this you can see is the hunter under saddle type of class for the trot, and the quarter horse, the breed shows, they've changed a lot, but you'll notice the poll is lower than the withers. That's the difference.
It's quite a bit different than the hunter under saddle we just watched. This, yeah. I think they call this hunt seat.
Yes, and many of the horses have fake tails. That's why they swing different. It's because they're tail extensions. And so this is the current style. These are the top horses in the country. Here they are picking up the canter. Well, some of them are, it looks like.
I think they're in the ring just before it starts even, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Huh. Yeah, because they're both going.
Yeah, they're going in different
Let's
directions.
see if I can go forward and see, because oh no, there's judges in the ring. They're being judged. Let's see if we can find something with the low canters. So here's their canters. As you can see, we call this heavy on the forehand. But that's how they're showing in the breed shows, with the poll lower than the withers. But the good news is now in the breed shows, you'll see most of these horses are doing a 3-beat canter. A couple years ago, they were still all doing that 4-beat canter. So they're making a lot of changes in the breed shows where the horses are showing more balanced right now. All right, that's enough for that. Let me get out of here.
That's enough of that.
Well, I mean, because it's nice to see a little bit of the different kinds of shows.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. It's. I think we should. And if you are showing your breed horse, then that is what you're going to want to see. That is what you're going to want to do.
Exactly.
That is what you're going to want to show, because that is the standard of that particular breed at that particular show. If you went to an Arabian show, it might be a bit different. If you went to a paint show, I mean, I don't know what the standard is for quarter horse or for Arabian. I just know the hunter.
They are a different balance. So like the breed horses, like the paint, like you were saying, and the quarter horses, they're like what we just saw. Arabians, it's a different balance than both of the ones we just saw.
Okay, so now I also have another one. I have a horse coming into the ring for starting up their hunter round. Okay, so let's just take that down. I'm going to start this. Once we get it going.
We have to pedal. Everybody help her pedal now. Pedal, 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 pedal.
Oh, what have I done?
I don't know, but it looks like that spinning wheel of what.
Spinning wheel of death.
I know.
Okay, let's just go back here, see if we can get it started again. Okay, so while we're waiting for that to come back up, okay, here we go. Here we go. So I would like to know what your first impressions are of this rider when she comes into the ring. How does it make you feel? She probably got marked down for that. Horse, I mean, does it leave a good flavor in your mouth about what this horse is going to do? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be not good? You're not saying anything, Randy.
Oh, I didn't know you were talking to me. I thought you were talking to them. Well, I know.
I am talking to everybody.
All right. So with this quality of show, you can, the reality is to go to a show at this level, these are $500,000 horses and some of the top riders in the country. They come to win. There is no question that their horses, they expect them to do. These people are well-trained riders. I mean, children, whatever they are, they spend hours a day developing their skills, and these horses are very well trained. We're lucky to be able to watch horses.
I know, it's beautiful, isn't it?
It's just beautiful to watch, because this is an example for all of us. You'll notice everything is smooth, consistent. The rider's balanced. Look at how springy her riding position is. She's sinking into her balance. She's preparing. You see her coming up to the fence. You don't see many changes in her riding position, because she has spent a long time and a lot of money creating a secure riding position. This does not happen overnight. So,
yeah, so I think this is a might be a handy hunter class. No, wouldn't it be? I love the even steady pace of this horse. He doesn't seem to change at all coming up to the fence, always getting the correct spot and just rounding his back over top of the jumps. Steady pace in between each of the jumps, which is sometimes a difficult thing to do when you have that long run in between the jumps. Love the way the horse uses his hind legs over that. It's just beautiful. I hear a cat meowing.
Yeah, there is a cat meowing. So we understand that most riders will never get to this level, but we can, it's so great to be inspired by those who are able to go to this level and give us examples of what we can do to improve what we're doing with both of our horses and ourselves.
And I think it's important also to have a goal and also to understand that it is a possibility, and it is you can get to this level if you continue to work and
work study. If you're thinking of working your way up into doing something like this, and you're thinking you don't have the income to do it or something like this. When I was younger, we did what was called apprenticeships, where we did an apprenticeship. But nowadays, what's popular in this world, the hunter jumper world and any others, is you can go and work study for well-known trainers who are competing at this level.
Oh, that's a big one. Yes.
Where you can learn from them. You don't get paid, maybe 50. When I did my apprenticeship, I was paid $50 a week and worked like 20 hours a week, 7 days a week. But that's what it is when you're work study. But there's a way you can actually find ways to get to this level by going and working with the people who are competing at this level, who can teach you the basics you need, where you don't have to, like we said, income wise, you can go work for somebody and learn this type of thing, which has more value than paying for years of lessons.
I would like to just show something else here too, if it's going to do that, is what she does at the end of this. Gonna have to do that again.
Where she praises the horse?
But she just does this fantastic round. She's an upper level rider, and she comes back to the trot nice and slowly, showing her horse off at a beautiful trot, comes back to the walk without even touching his mouth, and really genuinely gives her horse a pat and is so happy with the job well done.
Yes.
Beautiful the way that she, it shows her horsemanship.
That's right, which is very important.
Okay, so it's going on to the next one. Okay, I don't want to do that. And we're going to go here. How did the neck wringing issue as she entered impact her score? When does the judging start? Excellent question. Thank you, Allison Kelland-Wells, for asking that question. When you're judging hunters, not like jumpers, when you're judging hunters in equitation, the judging starts as soon as that horse's nose comes through the gate, the in gate. So that would impact, I think, it was a minor thing, but if there was a lot of other very nice horses who had similar round but didn't do that, it might take a few marks off. But this horse jumps so beautifully and is so lovely. Oh, look, it's going on to the next one. It may, but the horse jumped so lovely. I don't think that it really would. It's just something that I noticed right away. I may have noted it on my card that the horse played a little bit, put a mark down that it played, but
right.
Yeah. So just for fun, do you want to watch a few of these guys? I'm going to share this. Let's watch one round of this.
Well, that's what I thought. It's the equitation finals.
Equitation finals.
Mm-hmm.
United States Equestrian Network.
So this is like the top equitation riders of the year for the equitation division in the hunter jumper US.
I mean, that transition, Randy, there was no tension at all in that horse.
That's right.
Can you see it all right? Am I showing it? Yeah, good.
I'd like to see her sit just a little bit deeper in her saddle. Just a little bit, because she's rocking her upper body a little bit. But again, she's got a really well, there's an
her leg doesn't move.
I know you have a really well-trained horse and it makes such a difference for your position, right, Laura?
Oh yeah. I mean, her leg is solid. Look
Now,
at that.
yeah, a little bit. And just in the takeoff, she loses a little
Good.
bit. She brings it right back there. You can see where she starts getting heavy on her front just a little bit. So everybody does this. So you see there, she starts rising out of her seat a little bit. You can tell she stands on her
She's rolling up onto her thighs.
Yes. And we're really being picky, but this is a rider that's very
I
accomplished.
love the way she squats in the saddle over top of the jump.
Yes. And can you see where she gets light in her stirrup?
Yes. Yep.
Every time she goes into a corner. So watch, she's going to start there. See, she starts a corner, our new direction, and that's where her feet get a little light. Interesting. So every rider has a different place where they lose the connection to their lower leg.
She opens up her body just a little bit soon too for me.
Well, but that's because she loses her spring. See there, she's going to drop. Oh, she didn't that time.
Oh, because she was right in front of the fence.
Yep, I expect her
That
to.
looks like a small ring.
Oh, it is. It's Harrisburg, it looks like, isn't it? And that is, remember how small that ring was? We did the Horse Expo up there. It's a small ring.
Yes. Oh, that was excellent. Oh my gosh, I want to watch more. Does anybody else want to watch more of those?
Well, I think if you're going to do that, you should show, well, those are good. But because most people just see they notice the rides that aren't so good, I guess. And to see riders of that level is really
It's very good to train your eye.
Mm-hmm.
And then she picks up her trot. Nice trot, keeping the horse going forward and into the contact. What a lovely horse. Gonna get a treat as he comes out.
Yes.
Okay, next horse. This is the finals work off.
And with any competition, when you get to the finals level at a national level like this, these riders are working all day. This is a full-time job. Either the horse is being trained by somebody all the time or the rider's getting work.
So this is an equitation. So that means these are junior riders again.
Yes.
And the work off. So that means that they have gone through one other thing to be picked to go through on to the next round. So this is the work off. So this is one of the final things.
Right.
Hi, Karen. Yes, you want to do. Hi there, Karen. Good to see you. Yep. So she's getting ready and she's getting final last words from her coach out there.
Yep. And did you notice that they're groomed? Because you can have your parents or your trainer do this too. Always that final brush off of the boots. See how they brush everything off? She's got a groom doing it, but they always finish everything off right before they go into the ring.
Wonder how many copyright infringements I'm going to get for this.
Oh, well, there's no music, so that should help.
No, but it's a U.S. network, USEF network.
Well, I know, but everybody shares their posts, so that's a different thing. I think. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, we'll find out. So again, she's got a nice forward canter coming around there. I wonder if they announced the scores.
They usually do, and there's usually commentary behind these too. If you get the ones, because most of these shows they have
I want to do my own commentary.
Like that's one of the things that Diane Carney does, is she announces the commentary at shows. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So as they're going around, I love it when they have the commentary. I think that's so. Those of you watching, for most of these shows that you watch on YouTube or the channels, as the riders are going through the show, there's usually another judge who's adding commentary, talking about, like they left out a straw.
Did you see that, Randy?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
That's going to mark her way down.
Right.
So this rider rides quite differently than the previous rider. She's quite like opens up through the back of her leg over top of the jump. It's really good that we could see this. See the way she opens up her knee angle,
I know, but
which is quite different than the other.
she's still too far out of the saddle, though. So as long as I see so much air between the saddle and the rider's rear end, she's not anchored.
No, she's not anchored, and that kind of showed when she.
It affects the way the horse moves. It affects everything. And this is a really beautiful rider.
It's a beautiful rider. She's lovely. Yeah, exactly.
Right. And we could even ride at that level. And so for me, when I see a rider that moves like this one, like the last rider, it makes me think that these are some of the riders who have a tendency. There's a pattern right now, a fad at some places where riders are posting to the canter. So when I see a rider like this one, it kind of gives me the feeling that, gee, I wonder if she posts in the canter when she's training.
Yeah. So I think that was at Harrisburg, wasn't it, where we were?
Yes, for the horse expo.
Well, I think we're going to wrap it up there. If you do have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you do have a photo, we do have a comment here. Aaron, for teachers and professors in the U.S., there's no copyright violation so long as the media is being used for educational purposes. Not sure if that would apply here, but it could be possible. Excellent. Well, Aaron, just so you know, I showed a picture. I showed a trick rider who was riding on America's Got Talent. And we commented on it, right, Randy, about how this rider was going on. And America's Got Talent sent me a copyright infringement on it. So I had to remove that video. But it was fun watching it, wasn't it, Randy? That was a trick rider. It was awesome. But anyway, Randy, do you have any final words for people?
No, just keep doing what you're doing and tune in with us next week, and we'll continue doing what we do. And as you know, with every rider that we show, the one thing we want to make clear to everybody who's watching is that everybody goes through the same steps to get to where they're going to go. You know, it doesn't matter what level you decide to go. If you're going to be an Olympian, you're going to do the same steps everybody else is taking. If you decide you just want to be a trail rider, that's fine. You're going to still take the same steps to make your riding positions so that it's easier for you to influence the horse, so that it's more comfortable to ride and easier to influence.
Yes. Exactly. And if you have any comments or questions, or if you'd like to have your own position review done, send me an email, thistleridge@hotmail.com. And again, if you, Aaron Kelly says, oh my goodness, well, that means you're certainly important. Oh yes, thank you, Aaron. I know I'm important. Thank you. I like to think in my own mind I'm important anyway.
And for me, it's all about you.
And remember, I do answer all my emails if you send me an email. And this is a process. Your riding position is a process. And we do have to go through all the steps, from keeping your heels down, keeping the weight down in your feet, and to use all the available mentors that you have so that you can improve your riding. I mean, we are just one source. If you do have some questions about what we discussed today or why we did it, please send me an email, thistleridge@hotmail.com. And go use this stuff. Go have some guts. Go use this stuff. Right? Thank you.
So, bye, everybody.
Bye.